we're kind of caught up with everything in the volume. We mentioned the anime briefly. Don, are you caught up to all of the anime?
Yes.
Yeah, so am I. Seamus, you're not watching the anime, are you?
I am not.
Yeah, I don't know if you're interested in watching the anime, but it is very good. If you want to watch an anime, it's very well animated. It's very slick. Um,
Yeah, honestly, for an anime adaptation, it's really good. I think my main complaint, if I had to really give one, is that like it's so well animated that it almost feels too clean for Chainsaw
yes,
Man.
I can see that. Yes,
Because one of the great things I love about the artwork is Fujimoto's line work is really like scribbly and messy.
a little scratchy.
Yeah, and it gives a great, like, sort of texture to everything, and everything in the world of Chainsaw Man kind of has this sort of, like, gritty griminess to it almost. And meanwhile, the anime can't really convey that as well, I don't think. Everything looks a little too clean, too sharp, but that's kinda to be expected, like
Yeah, I think you're totally right. I think you're on the nose, especially, or not just with the characters, but also with the environments. The way so I think Fujimoto draws like urban environments, especially like alleyways.
Yeah.
They have this very specific kind of texture to it that like sometimes it almost looks like you're looking at a sci-fi manga or something because there's so much
Mhm.
pipes and garbage and stuff. It almost looks like it's like cyberpunk or something, right? It could almost look like it's out of Ghost in the Shell. Um, and reaching way into the future, they actually mentioned in the newest chapters of Chainsaw Man in part two, they actually mentioned that like, oh, the city is very corrupt and they build stuff without like proper code enforcement. So the city they live in is just built upon very similar to like a cyberpunk city where it's just like, or like Kowloon or something, where it's just like the construction is built
Yeah.
upon construction,
Mhm.
with very little organization.
Houses built upon houses, everything looks like it could just fall apart if there was a really strong wind.
Yeah, so I think it's interesting that they actually say that in the current Chainsaw Man because it's kind of like the feeling you get while reading Chainsaw Man Part One. Whenever you get to like the real inner city stuff, there's still stuff out like they still have like nice clean looking streets, but whenever they get to like the poorer sections of the city or the alleyways, it has like a really cool texture that isn't quite in the anime. And I don't know if they're going to try and replicate it later in some of the scenes, but the anime did open up like the first scene of the anime was the scene of the door, which is going to be a recurring motif in Chainsaw Man, which is interesting that they started off with that because they don't start playing with the door iconography until a little later in the manga.
Yeah.
But it's a big part of the manga.
That was something I was also gonna say, like, I feel like the door imagery in the manga is there's, like, a real, like, almost, like, horror aspect to that
Yes,
image because it looks very, like, ominous and threatening, and in the anime so far, like, it just looks like a door.
I agree. When they showed the door in the beginning, I knew what it was, and I knew why
Yeah.
they were showing it. But I was like, it doesn't quite, it doesn't hit. But you know, I'm a big manga nut, so maybe it's just me
Yeah.
being biased towards manga. There's something about just the black and white inking that sometimes like an anime can't quite capture.
Right. And, so far they're doing a really good job on this adaptation, but like overall, I would definitely say if you have never read the manga and you're only watching the anime, I would say you should give the manga a read because obviously it's so far the better looking of the two.
I agree, and also another reason why I would say try reading the manga. Like, let's say you watch the first few episodes of the anime and you're way into it. Honestly, read the manga before the manga fans spoil it for you, because sometimes manga
Mm-hmm.
readers have no chill. And I'll say this as
Yeah.
a big manga fan. You know, they're my people, the manga heads out there. You know, but like sometimes it's okay for you to just like let anime fans discover it on their own. You know,
Right.
you don't always have to be like ho 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 next episode ho 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 I can't wait till next episode guys, oh keep your eyes out for blades, right? Am I right? You're like, no, stop hinting at stuff. Like let them see the crazy shit happen on their own.
Yeah, honestly, I get way more entertainment out of seeing the people who have never read Chainsaw Man watching the the show week to week,
Yes.
because you're just like, oh man, they're discovering things.
Yes, and you could talk about it amongst your manga friends who have already read it, and
Yeah,
be like they won't know what's coming. But when you're talking to an anime only guy or gal, like you can relax. It's okay.
yeah.
You don't have to be the first one to reveal it. It's not about you.
No. Sometimes it's way more fun just to see your friends discover a thing and just sit back and be like, ah, yes, I remember that feeling.
How's your husband doing?
He's good. So he hasn't been reading more because he was reading on my tablet and just kind of fell off of reading it. But we watched it the other night, and after that last episode of Chainsaw Man, he goes, "Do you know who Makima's contracted with? What devil Makima's contracted with?" And I was like, I do know Makima's deal. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, it was because he wasn't. I said, "Well, I read the whole first part of the manga," and he's like, "Well, I wasn't sure if it was like established." I'm like, "Yes, it's definitely established."
My wife was like, "Oh, is Makima a vampire? Vampire? Is she a vampire?"
If only it were that simple.
She was also shocked with Kobeni's doing the flips.
Competency.
Yes, she was like, "What the hell?"
Yeah, that whole scene with Kobeni, especially with her like apologizing to Denji and feeling like this saying that, "Oh, this job is going to drive me nuts," was so drawn out.
Yes.
I was telling. Sorry.
Go ahead. No, you go ahead. Sorry.
I was telling James, I'm like, the pacing in this anime is ridiculous because it is the opposite of the manga. Like, the manga goes fast. And this is like, this one stopped and I'm like, nothing fucking happened in this episode.
They're stretching out 4 volumes into like 12 episodes. And it's like, this isn't the Beastars anime where it's like 6 volumes and 12 episodes, which is way too fast. This is just like, they're taking their time. Maybe even a little bit on the slow side.
Yeah, I just feel like it's, I mean, I don't mind, I guess, but like, they choose weird things to like lengthen, like Himeno hitting on Denji, like making that super long was weird.
Mm-hmm.
Kobeni like whining, which was kind of shrill and terrible. It was like weird,
Yeah, it can be a strength to the show. I think it was a strength in the first episode when they really let you see Denji and Pochita kind of hang out.
Yeah.
That helped the story in general, I feel. But when they have like Kobeni having like a PTSD meltdown and constant flashback and forth between like her buddy who died, who like protected her from getting shot, and just like her freak out, like that was evident in the manga, and it happened in like 3 panels.
Right, exactly. Mm-hmm.
And making it like 4 minutes, it's too much in my opinion. And it puts it over the edge to like a quality of storytelling that I don't think the manga is anything like. But like it reminds me of stuff like I only seen the very first episode of Gantz. But I remember, like, in Gantz, like, how they would, like, belabor, like, the stuff where, like, oh, this kid fell onto the train tracks. Oh, what a dumbass. I'm not going to go save him. And it was, like, 2 minutes of internal monologue of people being terrible people. And I was like, damn, this fucking sucks. Like, I kind of fucking hate this anime.
Right.
And Chainsaw Man is nothing like that. But, like, the way they draw out kind of some of these, like, holy shit moments, it kind of reminds me of that kind of, like, storytelling of, like, we're going to let you sit on this, like, totally heartbreaking stuff. It's like your heartbreak once, and then the rest of it is just like gurge. It's just like sludge. It's not necessary. I don't think it's a bad anime. I still think it's super high quality. I just at the moment I kind of regretting some of their choices.
Yeah, well, and I agree. I think it is very high quality. I was actually telling my husband like I'm usually very critical of the way new anime looks. I've talked about this a lot. I said I actually think that Chainsaw Man looks great. I think it like is obviously very high quality. I thought the ending theme for this most recent episode was really gorgeous. Gruesome, super gruesome, but really beautiful. Yes, but yeah, the other thing they've been doing is like recapping the end of the last episode at the beginning of the next episode. I'm like, I don't really need to see Himeno die again. Like, I don't.
Yeah.
It happened already. She already like disappeared. I just don't need to see that again. Thanks.
Yeah. Still good though.
Yes. Yeah, no, we're still enjoying it.